They say trust is like glass. Once shattered, it can never be put back together the same way. I never truly understood that until the day I found out my wife of 26 years, Lisa, had been cheating on me. It started as a regular Tuesday. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted after a 12-hour shift. Lisa was in the shower and her phone buzzed on the counter. I wasn't the type to snoop. In fact, I prided myself on respecting her privacy. But something, a gut feeling, made me glance over. One message, one stupid message from a contact saved as M. Last night was incredible. I still can't stop thinking about you. My heart started pounding. I opened the thread and was immediately hit with a flood of images and texts no husband should ever have to see. Lisa, my wife, my partner, the mother of our daughter, was sending explicit photos and videos to another man, some of them time-stamped on nights she claimed to be at book club or helping her sister with the kids. The betrayal hit me like a freight train. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just stood there, numb. My hands were trembling. I snapped a few photos of the texts, then quietly put her phone back. When she came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, I kissed her on the cheek like nothing happened and said I was heading to the store. But I didn't go to the store. I drove around for 2 hours, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. Memories flashed before my eyes. Our wedding day, the birth of our daughter, vacations, holidays, lazy Sundays on the couch. Were all of those moments lies? Had she been pretending all this time? That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake, replaying everything over and over, and then it hit me. Her 50th birthday was just a few weeks away. We were planning a big celebration. Family, friends, neighbors, everyone would be there. It was supposed to be a milestone, a moment of joy and reflection. But what if I made it into something else? I don't know what possessed me. Anger, heartbreak, pride, or maybe the need for closure. But I started putting together a presentation, not just a slideshow of memories, but a visual story of our life. The good and the bad. I gathered old photos of us, videos from when we were younger, clips of our daughter growing up, our vacations. I wanted to remind everyone, including Lisa, of what we once had. And then I added the affair, screenshots, dates, photos, voice recordings. Yes, I had found some. Every piece of evidence I had, I layered into the end of the presentation. But I didn't stop there. I called the bakery and asked them to change the cake. Instead of a regular Happy 50th Lisa inscription, I had them print something personal. It was tasteless, I admit that now. But at the time, I thought it was justice. In the days leading up to the party, I rehearsed my speech. I even wrote out 3 versions, one calm, one angry, and one somewhere in the middle. I didn't know which one I'd use until I was standing in front of everyone. The day came. The house was buzzing with chatter and laughter. People brought gifts, wine, flowers. Lisa was glowing, the center of attention. She hugged her parents, posed for pictures, and thanked everyone for coming. She had no idea what was coming. After dinner, I stood up with a glass of champagne and tapped it with a spoon. "Before we bring out the cake," I said, "I want to share something special with all of you. A little look back at Lisa's journey, our journey, over the last 30 years. The lights dimmed, and the presentation began. Photos of us as teenagers, our wedding, holding our newborn daughter, Christmas mornings, road trips, lazy beach days. People smiled, A few even teared up. Lisa was beaming, holding my hand. And then the mood shifted. I transitioned the slide to a simple black screen with one sentence. But behind every perfect picture is a story you don't see. The next slide showed a text exchange, then another, then a photo. Silence fell over the room like a heavy curtain. People looked around in disbelief. Lisa's smile slowly disappeared. She stared at the screen, frozen. I didn't say a word. I let the images speak for themselves. Murmurs began. Her sister gasped. Someone dropped a wine glass. Lisa stood up and whispered, "Turn it off. Please." But I wasn't done. "Wait," I said. "There's one more thing." The cake was brought out, not the one she was expecting. Printed on top was a blurred version of one of the explicit photos from her phone, tastefully cropped, but unmistakably damning. People were speechless. And then I handed her the envelope. "Happy birthday," I said. "It's your gift. Divorce papers." She burst into tears. Her parents screamed at me. Her best friend called me heartless. But I just walked away, out the front door, into the night. I didn't look back. Lisa stood frozen in place, shocked and in tears, when I handed her the divorce papers. The entire room went silent. Someone let out a quiet breath. Someone else looked uncomfortable. At that moment, my daughter just looked at her mother. No screaming, no hysterics. Her eyes said everything. Disappointment, pain, but also relief. After the party, I packed my things and moved into an apartment my friend had offered me while he was away on a business trip. That space, behind those walls, became the beginning of a new chapter for me. No illusions, just cold silence and an endless stream of thoughts. Lisa tried to contact me the next day. First came text messages with apologies, then calls. I didn't respond. I needed time to process everything. A few days later, she came home. I had made sure to leave beforehand to avoid seeing her, and left a letter on the table. In it, she wrote that she was ready to admit everything, that she felt horrible, that she had lost everything that mattered most, and that what she regretted most was letting down not just me, but our daughter as well. She even asked if we could go to a family therapist, not to save the marriage, but to understand ourselves better and, if possible, separate with dignity. Honestly, part of me wanted to just brush it all off, but another part wanted to end this chapter properly. I agreed to one session. During that first session, she talked for a long time. She admitted that the affair wasn't about passion. It was about emptiness. That she had started to feel invisible next to me. That she fell in love with the feeling of being admired. She admitted that she knew how badly it would hurt me if I found out. But she continued anyway, because she was afraid of being alone. It was hard to hear, but I understood. Her words weren't an apology. They were just the truth. And there was a lot of truth, but there were also things she didn't say. About a week after the party, a former colleague of mine reached out. He told me that Lisa's lover, the same guy who had worked with us before the pandemic, wasn't let go due to budget cuts, as I had thought, but was actually fired for inappropriate conduct at work. Meaning, this wasn't the first time he had crossed boundaries, and Lisa knew about it. On top of that, it turned out their affair had started much earlier than she admitted during therapy. At that moment, something inside me broke for good. I realized there was nothing left between us to build anything on. I canceled the remaining sessions. I didn't want to hear any more excuses. I didn't want to dig into the past. I wanted to live. While the divorce was being finalized, Lisa tried to make amends, bringing home my favorite food, calling my mom, sending me pictures of her and our daughter hugging and smiling. But it only irritated me more than anything. It felt like she was trying to control the narrative, not truly fix anything. Our daughter, by the way, turned out to be incredibly strong. At just 17, she showed a level of maturity I didn't expect. She said, "Dad, I'm sorry this happened, but I'm glad you finally saw the truth. You deserve better. We'll get through this." Those words became my anchor. I started working out, saw my therapist again, reconnected with old friends. I even started listening to music for the first time in a long while, without associating it with something from the past. Space opened up in my life again, space for myself. What happened to Lisa? She moved into an apartment near her office. She and our daughter still talk, but not as closely as before. Their relationship is more like friendly acquaintances now. The honesty they once had disappeared along with the trust. The lover? Turns out he had another woman Lisa didn't know about. So shortly after our split, he vanished from her life just as quickly as he appeared. My life now is quiet. No fireworks, no storms. But there's meaning in the silence. I'm learning to be myself again, not as a husband, not as someone betrayed, not as someone angry. I'm not perfect, but I'm living honestly. And maybe that's what matters most. It's been several months since that chapter of my life slammed shut. At first, I thought closure would come from revenge, exposing Lisa, humiliating her, telling everyone what she had done. And for a brief moment, it did feel like I had regained control. But revenge is a fleeting high. The reality that followed was much quieter and much harder. I realized healing wasn't about punishing her. It was about forgiving myself. I had to forgive myself for ignoring the red flags, for thinking love meant sacrifice, even at the cost of my self-worth, for staying when I should have walked away. I had to accept that not everything broken can be fixed. And sometimes that's not a failure. It's just life. Lisa and I are officially divorced now. We keep things civil for the sake of our daughter. There's no screaming matches, no petty fights, just silence and occasional logistics about school events or doctor appointments. Our daughter, bless her heart, is doing better than I ever imagined. She's been my anchor. There were nights when I'd find her sitting by me, just placing her hand on my shoulder, saying nothing. And that silent support carried me through some of the darkest days. I won't lie. I still have moments where I miss what we used to be. The little memories, Saturday morning pancakes, her sleepy voice saying goodnight, watching movies under a blanket. But I've come to understand that missing someone doesn't mean you made a mistake by letting them go. It just means you're human. And now I'm learning to rediscover myself. I started journaling. I'm in therapy. I've picked up photography, something I always loved but neglected. I even took a solo trip upstate, just me and a camera, chasing sunrises in silence. Do I trust again? Not yet. But I no longer feel broken. I feel rebuilding. I feel growth. Lisa, wherever she is, whatever she's doing, I wish her peace. Not because she deserves it necessarily, but because I do. Carrying hatred is heavy, and I'm done being weighed down by things I can't change. To anyone going through betrayal, heartbreak, or the painful process of letting go, know this: you will be okay. You will wake up one day and not feel that stabbing ache in your chest. You will smile again, laugh again, trust again, not because time heals all wounds, but because you do. You are the healer of your own story. And me? I'm not quite healed yet. But for the first time in a long time, I believe I will be.